Athens, Greece. Standing in the center of the National Archaeological Museum is an ancient statue that is referred to as Poseidon of Melos. Dated to the 2nd century BC, it depicts the Greek god Poseidon, who, according to Plato, was both the ruler of the sea and the founder of Atlantis.
We hear from Plato that the gods drew lots and divided up the world into areas that they would be responsible for. And Poseidon receives an island, and he finds a human woman on the island, falls in love with her, and they have 5 sets of twins. And the firstborn of the first set of twins, he names Atlas, and he makes him the king of Atlantis. So the island is named for that Atlas, as is the Atlantic Ocean in which the island was situated.
The original inhabitants of Atlantis, the Atlanteans themselves, because they are the descendants of a god, they are like gods themselves. They're not gods on the level of Poseidon, but they are endowed with supernatural powers of sorts.
They have the best technology, they have the most resources, they have civilization crafted by a god for their greatest benefit.
Were the Atlanteans really supernatural beings with advanced technology who descended from a god? Sounds like a wild fantasy. But just like the rest of the Atlantis story, it begs the question, is there any way that it could possibly be true?
Plato said the Atlanteans were the children of the gods. They were hybrid beings. They were part human, part god. Where the gods have created this race of beings, many people have long believed that this story is true, but they weren't really gods. They were actually extraterrestrials, and they mated with human females and created a hybrid race. This is a story that has all kinds of hallmarks of genetic engineering and the influence of an extraterrestrial with this technology.
It sounds like quite a far-out idea, but there's a lot of analogies in these myths that don't really make sense unless you look at it from a technical perspective.
In Plato's dialogues, he makes it clear that Atlantis is a place of genuine history. So what this story is actually telling us is that there were actual beings that came to Earth and influenced human affairs by creating hybrid offspring.
Extraterrestrial hybrids. If this fascinating theory is true, could it be that the advanced technology associated with Atlantis was brought to Earth from another world? And perhaps more profoundly, if the Atlanteans descended from extraterrestrials, could it be that they didn't just disappear, but actually went home?
One of the big problems of Atlantis is, where is it? Where did it go? I mean, there's so many places around the world that Atlantis is said to have existed. Antarctica, Mediterranean, Cuba, and other places. One of the ideas is that it actually was some kind of spaceship that lifted off and then would go and land in another location. Many of the stories we often find in Greek myths do talk about these stars falling from the sky and creating these islands in the ocean. And so Atlantis could have actually took off and left Earth.
Cultures all around the world talk about humans deciding to ascend or leave the planet because of an impending cataclysm, a coming apocalypse like a great flood or a cataclysm of that nature. And this is what we might be seeing in Atlantis, where they know this cataclysm's coming and they decide it's time to move into the stars.